And this is East Coast Sports Investors Closing Bell. Apologies for any goofy producing issues on my end. 100% on my end there if that looked any goofy at all. But happy to be here for this fine Wednesday afternoon of Closing Bell action on the ECSI networks. We've got a good show coming up. I believe I will be joined by Mr. Jeff Dawson here in a moment. Talking most all things baseball as far as any action going on today. I am sure we will have a little bit of an NBA conversation because my Chicago Bulls, as of the last hour or so, have officially agreed to, or I guess I don't know if it's official, but have agreed to an extension with Nikola Vucevic. 3 years, $60 million, $20 million AAV. So I'm sure we'll talk about that. I obviously have plenty of thoughts as far as that is concerned around my Bulls. But aside from that, obviously there's plenty of other rumors and whatnot to discuss in the NBA. Might start to see a lot of action happening this next week and a half or so as far as the NBA is concerned. So definitely worth talking about there. But as far as MLB is concerned, we've got a handful of games up on the docket tonight. One already in the tank. Atlanta takes down Minnesota 3-0 earlier in the day today. In Washington, up 3-0 on Seattle. If you were with me yesterday, you knew I had a little something going on, congested, so I apologize. I'm dealing with that again today. The air outside in the Midwest is not treating me well, and it's getting even worse. So feeling better overall today, but as of right now, still dealing with a little of that, so I do apologize. As far as yesterday's show, had some hits, had some misses. My White Sox get owned by the Ohtani train there. I'm sure I had some issues there on some other games here. Lean towards the Cubs. That was the wrong side, obviously, there. Told you to beware of the Yankees. The Oakland A's bite them in the butt there, 2-1. And I apologize if I'm drawing a blank on some other ones here. But nonetheless, a fun evening of baseball yesterday, and hopefully it's even better tonight. That is all we've got on the docket, as I mentioned here, as we welcome on the other half of the closing bell here, myself and the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jeff Dawson, if he can get himself in here right now.
What is going on, sir?
What is going on, my friend? Thank you for joining the afternoon closing bell. Obviously, you've got a busy day of shows. And I know you've got Brady Cannon coming up here, so obviously we've got some time here, so we don't need to be too short and sweet. But rocking and rolling, I let it off. We've obviously got baseball coming up, but my Bulls, if you didn't see, give the extension to Mr. Vucevic, 3 years, $60 million here in the last hour or so.
It's funny you bring that up because I was going to tweet it last night when I saw it, and the way I understood it was if that didn't happen, he was shipping to Boston. Did you hear that?
You know what? I was feeling actually pretty good. If I didn't hear that, it's because I was putting some blinders onto it because I've heard for a while, I think the Bulls front office really kind of believes in Vucevic. And whether or not that's with this current group or not, I still don't know. I think we're going to find that out here in the next week or two if the Bulls have something else up their sleeve. Because during the season, it did sound like the Bulls were going to be reaching an agreement with them, and he was, if they were, rolling out the red carpet for him, then he was willing to come back. This might mean that there's something else as far as what the Bulls can do, though, because if they're rolling things back, with this current, at least the current trio plus the extended, three or four role player guys, it's going to look almost identical to the last season because obviously you've got Lonzo Ball on the shelf eating a $20 million hole in their pocket again here. So if they don't do anything else, they don't have a ton of flexibility. Because they've got qualifying offers out to Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu, so not quite sure exactly how much that is going to be, but. If all goes, if they stand pat, they don't make any trades, they've only about $9-10 million to fill 4 roster spots. So I would be shocked if they don't make some type of shakeup, whether that's with one of the other two quote-unquote stars, I don't know, or if that's, with the role players, I don't know. But if they, because I'm fine with the Vucevic deal. But I would be kind of shocked to see them do virtually nothing as far as changing this roster over to next year, despite having that $20 million Lonzo hole in their pocket.
So the next question, okay, so Vuk doesn't come to Boston. He's going to stick and stay. And then the next report that Zach says, no, I'm not going to the Mecca. I'm not playing for the Knicks. What's going on there?
Yeah, that one, as far as the Bulls, I have heard have been calling around about him. I think I just don't know what teams are going to be paying what they want for him, because the Bulls, from what I hear, are asking for minimum what what the Wizards got for Bradley Beal, if not more. And I just don't know if teams are as exciting as that can be, and as when he's on, as hot as he can be. He's capable of putting up 40 plus. He obviously got some flaws in his game as well. So I don't know what team is paying 110 cents on the dollar for him. And, I don't know how willing are the Bulls willing to, sell him for 75 cents on the dollar. I don't know. And like I said, is he exciting? Can he fill up the score sheet? Absolutely. But I mean, if he was really that much of an all-star caliber player, regardless of if they have a facilitator or not, they should have won more than, I don't even remember what it was at this point, 40, 41 games or whatever it was. So I like him in a lot of respects, but I think it's time to do some type of shakeup. So the Dallas and the Knicks have obviously been suitors in the past, and Dallas probably before they made the Kyrie deal, but at the end of the day, I don't know who's going to be paying, coughing up what the Bulls are asking for him, as to put it as frankly as I can. So then you move to is one of these role players going to be moved on? I think they are still trying to give Patrick Williams more of a chance. He's still got some time on his rookie deal. I think they're pretty happy with the control they have for, I think, 3 more years and $9 million in Alex Caruso, and then Kobe White is the other question mark, but he kind of elevated to a different level. I'm curious what they could possibly get for him. That might free up, $10 million or so. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, if they're sticking with what they've got, they have to get a facilitator to replace Lonzo Ball. But that's obviously not easy when you've got that $20 million hole in your pocket of Lonzo Ball. So aside from a shakeup, I don't know what they can do to make this roster that much better if they're sticking with Vooch, Levine, and DeRozan.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, unfortunately, with Ball out for, let's be realistic here. This is definitely going down the Derrick Rose train and a few others. So the fact that, again, this early in June, they're not expecting him back next year. And did he even play last year?
No, there was. I remember. I've put my foot in my mouth because I remember in September or something like that. It sounded real grim for last season, which obviously it ended up being. And then there was a report that he got surgery that finally fixed the problem, and he's going to be, once he recovers from that surgery, he'll be good. And that obviously never happened, and he still had the same complications. So, yeah, you're right. The fact that we're here and he's not going to play for another year. I mean, how can you be sure that he's ever going to play again, let alone in 2 seasons? So. I don't know what. Yeah, they obviously don't have a ton of flexibility as far as that is concerned. So, if you're sticking around Vooch, you got to find a way to not necessarily build around him as if he's your focal point for the next 3 years necessarily, but build a team that makes sense around Vooch at the very least.
Locally, does Peyton Pritchard or Brogdon move the needle?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, well, if they had that $20 million to spend, a guy, and I'm obviously very biased because he's from my home area and he means a shitload, excuse my language, to my home area, is Fred VanVleet, who is a free agent, but that's obviously a bigger chunk that they don't really have with that Lonzo money. But, excuse me, those 2 guys that you mentioned, absolutely. I did, before we got on, a different conversation a little bit, but I think it would be a good signing for their bench, and might even be a little tea leaves if they do that, as far as maybe moving on from Kobe White. But Dante DiVincenzo was something a name that they apparently are interested in mutually there. So they need some 3-point shooting. So I would be happy if they made that move as far as DiVincenzo is concerned.
Well, it's funny because when the Celtics made the big move for the unicorn, Chris Porzingis, the initial move was Brogdon. It was kind of comical, because Celtics Nation was ecstatic. They're like, all right. And then when the actual trade fell through and then it was Smart, they're like, ah. But there was another deal to be made. Smart was going anyways. So my point was, Brogdon's been unhappy. Pritchard was unhappy. And Grant Williams has been unhappy. So those were 3. If the Celtics, the prize of the offseason would have been VanVleet. I mean, if Jesus moved him in, holy moly. Now we're we're cooking with Crisco here. But
Right.
that's why I know I think Brad's got another move up his sleeve. I don't know who it is, and I was just curious because Vuk was tied to Boston if he didn't, do what you just said he did, and then the fact that what's his name, stiff arm in New York, meaning is he out? Are they trying to move him? Zach Levine, are they trying to move him? What the deal is, or are you guys just going to play it back?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the question. Is if they're playing it back, and they aren't able to. I mean, if they think they can piece together and find a cheaper point guard option that they think is going to be the solution to half their problems, then maybe they run it back. But I think the fan base has made it pretty clear they're not super interested in running to back what we just saw last season and a half since Lonzo went down. So I think like you said, with Brad having something up his sleeve, I think the Bulls and their front office would like to have something up their sleeve. It's just a question mark of if they have that flexibility or if there's anyone interested. I mean, 10 years ago when these front offices are just getting so much smarter and they're not willing to pay 110 cents for a guy that might be might be exciting, but just streaky and not going to lead to wins for them. So 10 years ago, I think the Bulls could have found somebody to take on Zach LaVine or Kobe White or something like that. But in these days, they're just, if they do, they're going to have to sell either one of them for 75 cents on the dollar as opposed to 100 cents or 110, 120, get a good deal off of them. So I'm waiting with bated breath, but I think they're going to try and do something, but that might be more of a rebuild as opposed to an aggressive. Not necessarily a rebuild, but a little retool as opposed to make a move that's going to elevate them into the top 5 of the East. Is that the ceiling? Maybe, sure, but it's a tough situation that the Chicago Bulls are in, is what I'm trying to say here.
Our weekly check-in with you, Packer Nation. Again, you and I last time we talked here live. I talked about a perfect time to buy low, obviously, on the Packers. Colin Cowherd says it best. When these teams want to leak out workouts and great plays, they do it, and when they don't leak it out, it's because they have nothing to show. And of course, he brings up Jordan Love, where you've had him now for a few seasons, and even in the off seasons, you're not seeing anything. How's it look? How's it sound out there? Again, I'm not buying. Listen, I think Detroit's a great team. The fact of the matter, they're 7-point underdogs opening day in Kansas City, which, most likely is going to be an exciting game, but an L. I think Minnesota will come back to the pack. And again, the Bears have too many holes on the offensive line, not enough weapons offensively. So I don't think with your coach, and if you play it correctly, I think you can be in a lot of games and into the second half, third and fourth quarter. Are you buying low, or is this still a wait and see approach?
It's a little of both. It's buying low, like you said. They could be 6-11 at the end of the day, but they might have been in 8 of those 11 losses at the very end of the game, or they could be on the good luck side of that factor and be 10-7. I am buying low. I'm not talking too much, as far as I've got a lot of Bears and Vikings and Lions people all around my circles that have plenty of things to say, even 3-win Bears fans after what they saw last season. As much as I think they could be improved, the Bears, you and I are 100% on the same page. They still have holes on both sides of the ball. They were the worst defense in football by a wide margin last year. So, obviously, if they can clean that up, and Justin Fields, when they unleashed him a little bit, kind of does that same production, then they can win a lot of games. But, and again, I'm not sitting here saying that you should be hammering the Packers to win the division, but there's a better path than people are giving them credit for to being a potential 7th seed or even a 10-win NFC North champ. Because I'm with you. I think you and I have been pretty on the same page with this Lions team. I think they have a lot of good pieces, and they could they make the right next step? Absolutely. Jared Goff could also regress and have an ugly season, and we're talking about, oh my God, this Lions, what are the Lions going to do? They're a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. That's in the cards too. So I think I am waiting and seeing. And Jordan Love is obviously a big factor to that. But the Packers, on the defensive side of the ball, they have a hole or two there. But their defense, if their defense is better from start to finish as opposed to the last, third of the season like it's been the last couple of years, then the Packers will be in this division. But it's still a wait and see. But at the end of the day, like you said, I am buying low. Aaron Jones just came out, and again, it kind of also falls into that same category of June, July, things that you hear. But Aaron Jones came out as far as, giving a vote of confidence to Jordan Love. So it is a wait and see. But as far as a lot of these guys, I am buying low. I told you, Christian Watson, I think, could have a great season. He's, a guy that I think people are investing too much into him as opposed to looking at some other options. Like I told you, I think Romeo Doubs is a great option to buy low of all the options there. Is he going to be a top 10 receiver in fantasy? I don't know. I'm not saying that. But even if he's top 25, that's going to be a massive boost from last year, and that's going to be a huge dark horse for you. And if we're talking from a fantasy football perspective. So as far as him and, if we can figure out one single tight end as opposed to a committee, then, maybe there's a tight end in there that breaks out there. But at the end of the day, there's definitely some buy low candidates for sure. And the Packers as a whole is a good buy low candidate, in my opinion.
Well, it's you just stole my thunder because last year I was in that combination of Stevenson from the Patriots, which I hit on with A.J. Dillon, which A.J. didn't live up to what I thought. Had a good December. I had my first 30-round draft on Saturday night, I think it was, and I did get Romeo. And the fact is, what I saw from Christian Watson was, he's got a gear, get him in open space, and he can't be caught. He's a gazelle. Right. But that was my question to you is, are you hearing anything in camp, or it's still we got to wait and see, obviously? Is there going to be that Jordan Love to Watson, or is Romeo the one that will actually be looking to grab?
Yeah, no, as far as I'm not saying, and if you can go back a year and you could see me sitting here talking about Romeo Doubs last offseason and talking how they were talking in the offseason that he could be a breakout. But we talked last year, and the fact of the matter is him and Aaron Rodgers just didn't have a lick of chemistry. And now a lot of the, not just, oh my God, Romeo Doubs, look at all the plays he's making. It's Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs actually have a good rapport, and you might see some really good chemistry from them. That's not to say he has more chemistry than one or the other, but as opposed to, a Romeo Doubs combination that had no chemistry, now you've got a situation where these guys are in the same age bracket and they've been with each other for a year now, practiced together a lot over the course of the last year. And the Packers needed that possession receiver. How many second and sixes trying to pick up 5 to 10 yards did they have busted because they just didn't have a possession option? If they can get Romeo Doubs to be that guy finally this season, then the Packers are going to have a lot more sustained drives as opposed to these quick 3 and outs where they pick up a few on first down and then they try to hit whether it's a lack of getting a possession or Aaron Rodgers was trying to throw a 20-30 yard bomb on second down, and now we're obviously passing on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, and that was the bane of their offensive season last year, was all these, dumb choices on second and medium long, and then forced pass option on 3rd down. So if they can avoid all of that, and Romeo Doubs is a big factor to that, then the Packers are going to have a much better I shouldn't say much better, but have more sensical, at least, offensive season. And, as long as they get some support from their defense, they'll be in this division. But if we're seeing that again, as far as botched, second and medium situations that force you into an obvious passing situation, then it's going to be the same thing. If obviously probably a lot worse without the, the savviness of Aaron Rodgers, who obviously, as much as I believe he put them in that situation a lot of points, he obviously had points where, his skill set can get them out of that situation. We'll obviously see if Jordan Love is in that situation, it's probably going to lead to a lot of interceptions. So, hopefully that's going to be a huge point, and that's another reason why Romeo Doubs is an incredible buy low situation there.
And the reason Rodgers was put into that situation was because he always had his binky called Davante Adams, because on 3rd and 8, either Adams would get open,
right,
or they'd throw it that way and they'd get a pass interference and they'd move
right.
the chain. So you're
right.
100% spot on there. Earlier, before we started the bell, I wrapped up with Andrew McGinnis. Tonight is obviously the NHL draft congratulations to your Blackhawks getting a generational stud with Mr. Bedard. Earlier in the week, the Bruins trade Taylor Hall to you. So again, the rebuild is coming. I know you, as you say during the closing bell, I'm not the hockey guy, but this fall we're going to expect some updates from the Blackhawks and maybe some live remotes as you're waiting for Bedard and company to enter the ice.
Yeah, no, I mean, the excitement is there. I am not going to sit here and break down what we're going to do tonight or who's going to be coming to the Blackhawks because I don't have a damn clue. But, I mean, as I'm sitting here, I've got one of my college buddies who's a huge Blackhawks fan that I talk to on occasion, or more than on occasion, frequently, but we haven't talked about the Blackhawks in 2-3 years, and that was one of the biggest things. And now we're texting back and forth about the draft tonight. I think they've got, 3 picks in the top 35 or so or whatever, and they've got a load of picks throughout the entire night, so, or 2 night or whatever it is. So the excitement is there, and pardon me, and especially if they've got some other moves to make. I mean, the excitement is certainly there. Does that mean the Blackhawks are going to be a championship contender? No, not necessarily, or certainly not at all. But going from tanking for Bedard to most likely going to be an exciting team to watch, and certainly with Bedard on the roster, a talking point throughout the league. So the excitement is there. I mean, it was. I know a lot of people don't believe that we deserve it, or believe that it was rigged for us, whatever you want to call it. We've got that sucker coming on our way tonight, so we are certainly excited, and like I said, hopefully there's some more moves to be made to make us a little more well-rounded this upcoming season. But like you said, the trade they made earlier to get not only Taylor Hall but some protection for him as well was huge. So I'm sure they got another thing or two up their sleeve, but it should be an exciting evening tonight as far as the draft is concerned, my friend.
ECSI VIPs, it doesn't get any better than what happened in Seattle the first inning. Our hits run in RBI's props at DraftKings over 1.5. Mr. Candelario plus 100 gets up with 2 guys on and doubles deep. So we cash that one. Currently in the bottom of the third on Mr. Patrick Corbin Day, which no one talks about anymore. It now went to Jordan Lyle Day, who he spun a gem the other day. So we'll find another shit bum to lean on. But with that said, Nationals 3-0 bottom of the third there. Got a pretty full menu. I'm going to pass it over to you. You can pick and choose. Obviously, you and I, especially you, are battling with some nice allergies. I love this time of year. We had about 4 inches of rain here the last 48 hours, and having a basement studio and viewing lounge, let's just say Noah's Ark is parked in the back and the wet vac and all that good stuff. So I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, well, as far as I am congested, and I am usually not a person that struggles that much with allergies, but the Canadian wildfires are wreaking havoc on the Midwest as far as the I mean, it's like in a lot of places it's like air quality alerts and advising people to stay inside. And I was out. I had already been congested the last 2 days, and I went outside for 20, 30 minutes today, and I had to take some. I've been miserable this afternoon. So obviously hoping that situation gets resolved. And I'm not even in Chicago at the moment, and I know Chicago has been I think is at least yesterday is the worst point air quality wise potentially in the world right now because of it. So I think the Northsiders are there tonight, so I'm curious to see. I didn't actually watch last night because it's worse today. It should be better tomorrow, but hopefully it's clearing up here. But it's been wreaking havoc on me these last couple of days here. So going over to the start of the slate here, or the start of the slate that's not already off and running, obviously. Cincinnati and Baltimore here in a couple of hours. Luke Weaver, Kyle Gibson on the mound here. 1-1 on this series so far. I wasn't really sure what to make of this one. These teams have kind of been a little streaky. Obviously, the Reds had their streak, then lost it and had a little losing streak. Baltimore's been a little streaky as well. But Luke Weaver, as far as these 16 2/3 innings in June, 20 earned runs allowed. It has not been good. However, the Reds managed to win all 4 of those starts. So it could have been our punching bag, but the Reds gave him some run support those last 4 there. And Gibson hasn't been very solid lately. 3 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs last time out. A little mediocre the handful of times before that, and obviously not very good there last time. And now Baltimore Still the home team here, minus 168. I'm seeing it down from, I believe, is this opening number correct? I think I saw this right this morning as well. 195. Is this one coming way down tonight?
I had actually an overnight number of 160. You might have seen a corrected number. Currently, right now at circa 161, you can grab the Reds at plus 147, an over under a 9.5 juiced over. It is comical. I was looking the VIPs. We do have a swing in the VIPs on this game here, but what I would tell everyone, and I left it on the desk because Wager Talk had one number, DraftKings had another, and I don't give out big numbers when it comes to juice. On Wager Talk right now, you can get the Baltimore Orioles team total over 5.5. You can get that at plus 115. But if you went over to DraftKings earlier this afternoon, they had it at 4.5 juiced over minus 145. I'm not going to do that. But if your shop's offering a 5.5 at plus money, I think the Orioles, usually in game 3, their offensive series wakes up. So I think this could be a slugfest. I think the Orioles can get to a touchdown. You don't need the extra point, a 2-point conversion. The Dodgers last night, team total 7.5. You needed the touchdown with the 2-point conversion. They just played grab ass there. But I think Baltimore gets it done. And I think that their offense can get at least a 5 or 6 for most people.
No, I like it. This series has been off my desk a little bit here, but I do like it. I mean, the Cincinnati team. If you're telling me the Cincinnati team is going to regress after whatever winning streak they had, I'm not gonna laugh in your face. I could definitely buy into that. So, moving on, San Diego and Pittsburgh is the next one up here. Blake Snell versus Mitch Keller. Blake Snell, for those who have not been paying attention here, has been incredible this last month or so. Last 6 outings, 2 earned runs over 36 innings pitched. He's been phenomenal. Double-digit strikeouts in his last 3. Other side of the mountain, Keller's been a little back and forth. 7 innings. Last time was pretty solid. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. Pirates win yesterday after that rough stretch that they had. Padres back on a little bit of a 3-game losing streak. They are all over the place as they've been all season long. Are we buying the Blake Snell train right now after 6 great outings? Or are we looking for a little regression, or are we a little nervous of this tanking Pirates ship right now? No pun intended.
The Padres had just been Jekyll and Hyde. What, a $340 million payroll, like 9 games back. You just don't know. We had the over first 5 last night, over 5.5, and it got there in the second inning there. I don't have a lot of faith in either team, obviously. I'm looking at some team totals here. You can try to get cute if you like the Padres, who opened up at 165 last night with an 8, now down to 152 at circa with an 8.5 juiced under. If you like the Padres today, I'd say take their team total over 4.5 at even money. If you like the Pirates, God bless you. Which Mitch you're going to get. Their offense has really been struggling. So not a big feel for this game. If you do like the Padres, I suggest team total over 4.5 at even money.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I mean, the Pirates are a tough pill to swallow right now, as especially with their pitching staff. You don't quite know what you're going to get. And then even if you do get something good, like you said, their offense gave out a good number yesterday, obviously, the Pirates offense, but hasn't really been sustained. So I'm with you. I didn't have much of a feel for that one. I didn't get really any indication whether it was going to be another fantastic Blake Snell start or a regression start. I didn't really get anything either way on that one. What about you?
No, I just, the team that was built in San Diego on paper looks like the best team in the majors. When you're wheeling out a Fernando Tatis with a Manny Machado, with a Juan Soto, with a Xander Bogaerts as your front 4, you add a Blake Snell in there, you add a Hugh Darvish in there, you add a Josh Hader in the back end. I mean, how's this team going to lose? Well, let me see. The Diamondbacks are in front of you. Oh, the San Francisco Giants are in front of you. Oh, yeah. Oh, and the LA Dodgers are in front of you.
Oh.
So in other words, it didn't work. So you got to figure something out. And the funny thing is all along the thought process is we're going to find someone to take Tatis so we can sign Soto Long, because we already got Manny Long and we got Xander Long. Well, Tatis is your best offensive option right now, but he's one bad test away from being suspended for a year. So
Right.
go figure.
Go figure. And yeah, go figure. The Dodgers are still up there, huh? How about that?
Yeah.
No, it's comical. So I am, I have not been playing any of these Padres games for the most part here these last couple of weeks. This one, I know it was undecided earlier, but San Francisco and the Blue Jays, you've got Logan Webb, and then Trevor Richards ends up getting the start for the Blue Jays, which I believe is going to be, I could be incorrect, but some sort of bullpen game, or maybe he goes 2-3 innings or something along those lines. But Logan Webb, a little regression this month after he was really, really solid in May. Hasn't been bad this month, but pretty consistently right around three runs allowed here through. He's been going 7 innings, but pretty consistently 3 runs there. And they've won 4 straight for him, and they've gotten some run support for him. They're on the road as I believe it's now right around a pick 'em, and I think Toronto opened up a little higher than that, if I'm not mistaken. What are you feeling with this one? After obviously the Giants, 3 out of their last 4 had their big streak. Still playing really solid ball. Toronto kind of turning the corner, but obviously the loss yesterday could use another bounce back today.
Yeah, it's funny. We have a free play in our Discord channel. Anyone watching and listening that's not a part of our Discord channel, DM me. I'll get you the link, or I'll ask one of our guys behind the desk to get you a link. We have a free play involved in that. It is the San Francisco team total over 4.5 plus 120 or 110 at your shop. Basically a pick 'em. Which Logan Webb's going to show up again? Game 3 of the series. The Giants is another one of those teams that offensively usually has a big game here. Not sure what Mr. Richards you're going to get here, but I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, the team total on Wager Talk right now for the Toronto is over 3.5. Over 3.5 minus 150. At another shop, it's 4 minus 120. So first 1 to 5 maybe wins this game, and I think the Giants are going to get to 5 at least. So that's what I like.
Okay, I can't hate you at all for that one. Coming your way, Miami and Boston. Braxton Garrett versus Caleb Ort listed, but I believe that's also a bullpen game for the Red Sox there. Braxton Garrett, 1 earned run or less in each of his last 3. A lot of good starts this season as well, but he's had some. He's been a guy that's had some bad regression starts as well. Red Sox back on a 3-game losing streak. Only 1 run in each of the last 2. Marlins playing good ball, 4-1 of their last 5, 10-1 victory with Sandy Alcantara yesterday. Any thoughts that the Red Sox are going to have an offensive outburst here after a couple of bad days, or is this going to be? Are they going to be submitted by another pitcher's will here again today?
Well, Cora's wheeling out Verdugo, Turner, Rison, Ref Snyder, Devers, Duvall, Arroyo. Again, we're back into the bad slump here. But the number here smells to me. I mean, I was talking to people yesterday, and everyone was fading Alcantara, and they went 10-1. So now again, they're favored overnight minus 121. Excuse me. Now 129 at circa. Kind of comical as we are bringing out Ort. Yeah, O-R-T. Like, who is this guy? Bullpen game, comical. Yet the whole world's on Miami. So what I would tell everyone is to take a look at the Sox, but more take a look at their team total over 4.5. You can get that at plus money, plus 110. If you want to sprinkle a little beer and pizza on the Sox, you can grab them at plus 117. I'm not saying the Marlins isn't the right side, and not that the Sox are playing great ball, but again, everyone's remembering what they saw yesterday, and that was a 10-1 to win. So look for a little sense of urgency from the Red Sox tonight.
Yeah, I like it. And like I was saying, if he doesn't give up a bad start here today, I'll probably be targeting Braxton Garrett for a regression start. I mean, to start the season, 5 really solid starts, and then a 14-hit, 11-run outing after that. Then he bounces back a little mediocre, but then nice stretch of 4 straight good ones, and then a 4 spot allowed to Kansas City, and then now 3 straight good ones. So if Braxton Garrett has a good night tonight, I'll probably be on the fade train starting next time around. If I'm not interested already tonight, like you're saying, with this Red Sox team looking for a bounce back. So that one's on my radar. If Braxton has a good start tonight.
And just as we're speaking, Chris Sale will undergo an MRI on Thursday to determine the next step in his rehabilitation process. Sale has been on the shelf since early June due to left shoulder inflammation and is expected to be sidelined into early August. There should be some clarity on his status. So this basically, I will tell everyone watching and listening that wants to pay attention here. Chris Sale will not pitch again for the Red Sox this year. By the time they get to August again, they're one game over 500. No, actually, I'm sorry. They're 40-40 right now. Today is exactly the halfway point. There'll be too many teams to climb. Therefore, Chris, thanks, but no thanks. Shut her down. Just don't ride the bicycle the rest of August and September. We'll see you in spring training, and we'll just bring up another meatball or two, and we'll just, fly off into the abyss. We'll be 78 and 84, or we'll be 79 and 83, or whatever it is. But they're not going anywhere this year, people. So enjoy it.
Yep. He's either 100% done, or he'll, like he did a couple years ago, he'll make a couple rehab starts and then have a tantrum in the minor league locker room or whatever the hell happened a couple of years ago, and then that'll be all she wrote for him.
Well, I mean, it's just like what Toronto did to Manoah. They sent him down to a fat farm and you can't go any lower than the instructional league. No. He sat there for 3.5, 4 weeks, and they wheeled him out, and they gave up 11 runs yesterday. And I just think it's Toronto setting this kid up to fail. I mean, you strip someone down as far as you can, and then you try to build them up. And if this is what they were trying to do, well, you don't let him sit out there for 10 or 11 runs. After you see he doesn't have it, you pull him, and you just tell him very nicely, no McDonald's tonight. No, you're going to go and get a salad, and you're going to have a glass of water, and you're going to go on the elliptical for another 40 minutes. The Chris Sale project, listen, I told you when we made that trade, you robbed us. And I'll tell you again, then we gave him the extension. He's just been damaged goods. You're not going to get. And the sad thing was this year he turned the corner. He actually looked pretty damn good. And then this. So, Chris, do us a favor. See you next spring, and we'll go from there.
I enjoy these Chris Sale conversations because I am a person who absolutely understands what's going on, and it's also funny because he gave the White Sox some fantastic years, at least on the field there. So, but we're still, Michael Kopech's turning a corner, but we're still waiting for the riches to come with that trade. 100% of the 100% of the way there. I know you'll take either one of those guys in a heartbeat back, but we're still waiting for the All-Star game appearances from those two guys.
But what is the problem with Moncada?
The guy likes, hearing his own music more and, enjoy. He's just one of these. I've tried to root for him, and I still am going to root for him as long as he's on the White Sox, but very inconsistent. And, he's a kid that has always kind of thought his poo don't stink, and he's, he's put out music, tries to be a pop star, and not quite a diva because you obviously don't hear much from him in the clubhouse, but wouldn't if of all these random little nuggets you hear from the White Sox, it would not surprise me at all if Yoan Moncada's at the root of them. I mean, anytime he slides, has been the last year and a half or so, but for a while, anytime he would slide wrong on his hand, he'd be on the 10-day IL. Meanwhile, Jose Abreu would be, having a head-on collision and coming back the next inning. So, not really that blue-collar Chicago spirit that we like to have for our players as far as that is concerned. And as far as offensively, just rampantly inconsistent. So, but like I said, Michael Kopech has been turning a corner, as you know. So, anyways.
Oh, and I got to tell you, comedy relief. Sunday night, I turned on the Dodgers and Astros, and I have to say, one of the most ugliest good morning, good afternoon, good night was watching Abreu at the plate where
Oh,
they throw him three straight sliders that weren't even close. And that guy looked like he had never seen a breaking ball in his life. And it was so comical. I don't know what happened to him. He's just a shell of himself. But man, good
man.
riddance.
Yeah, that's the last guy that I'm going to positively root for that to happen because obviously that justifies the White Sox getting off of him because, I mean, he's a fan favorite for life, one of my favorite all-time players, but that obviously has been justified moving on from him. So I for his sake, as much as I love him, I hope he turns it around. But you're right, it has not been pretty at all, and that Astros team kind of needs him to turn things around to really get rolling for themselves there. So, anyways, back to to tonight's slate. Milwaukee and the Mets. Wade Miley and Kodai Senga. Miley so far off the IL, 2 shutout games over 5 and 6 innings pitched, 77 pitches, 67 pitches deep into these games, so might go a little bit longer tonight. Senga on the other hand, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs last time out. Been pretty hit or miss all season long, but really not a guy that's given. I don't think there's maybe only one where he's given up 5 or 6, and there's really not any ugly starts. He's kept the Mets in these games when he's there for the most part. But obviously hasn't been fantastic. Series so far between these two teams has been a split. This will be game 3. You and I always say that I'm not a guy that likes trying to get into these IL starts when the guy's still only going 70 pitches or so. Miley's obviously been fantastic since he came back. Are we expecting some type of regression for him? Are we waiting to see with Miley? Any thoughts at all as far as either of these two pitchers is concerned?
I have to say, I went against the grain yesterday. The whole world was on the Brewers. Everyone telling me the Brewers was the dog of the day. The ECSI VIPs received the Mets run line last night, plus 135. And as you see, I'm still glowing. With that said, I am taking my money and run. Sorry, TJ, I will not be touching for or against the Mets for a little while now. If I had to pick a lean in this one, anyone that had the Brewers last night, I wouldn't have a problem with them jumping back on the Miley train. If you want to get in on the Brewers, maybe a first 5, take them as a dog, grab them plus a half run. If you had the Mets with us last night, enjoy that money. Go and buy yourself a burger and a beer. Don't get back in there tonight. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. Kudos to the run line. I don't know what my exact record was as far as my lean for the solo yesterday, but I was the Mets team total was one that I was definitely my strongest pick. Like I said, I definitely had some losses and some bad advices there, but no, I was with you as far as the Mets offense yesterday. So I am I don't know. And Senga is a guy. I'm not a huge fan of guys that are fairly consistently 2, 3, 4 runs allowed. I like a guy that is either going to be fantastic or get his doors blown off. So maybe that happens tonight for Senga. I don't know. But he has not been a guy that I've been able to figure out too much is kind of the point I'm trying to make with that one.
No, I was looking at the prop market, and if I had to give out anything on this, I think you can get close to even money, maybe minus 105 on Senga over 6.5 strikeouts. When I'm learning, it's our 4th week in the prop market is, everyone bites on the low limbs, the 3.5s and the 4.5s. It's the 6.5s that most people will go under on. And I think those are the ones that if you're getting even money, plus money, or minus 105, 110 is to take a look at the over. So on that game alone, I'll say Senga over 6.5 strikeouts. I think you can get it around minus 105.
I like it. I mean, especially this Brewers offense, 2 runs exactly in 3 of their last 4. It would not surprise me at all to pull up tomorrow's box score and see them having another rough night at the plate. So I definitely am not disagreeing with you at all on that one. All right, going into we just mentioned Houston a little bit. Houston and St. Louis. Javier and Mikolas. Javier not so great last time out. 2 1/3, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 walks, 1 K. Mikolas has been a little all over the place. 7 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks last time out. Cardinals 6-2 last 8. Could really use a series victory here against Houston, and Houston trying to get out of this ugly stretch that they've been in. 3-8 their last 11. They had a 5-game losing streak mixed in there, and then I think since then kind of been a little back and forth. Didn't have the best series against the Dodgers there. But as I mentioned yesterday, they were competitive in that series, but obviously lose 2 out of 3 there. Any thought on these? I like Javier in a lot of spots. Don't love what I saw from him last time out. And as far as Mikolas is concerned, it would not shock me to hear that anyone thinks he's going to get the doors blown off of him tonight against this Astros team.
No, it's funny. On the Discord channel yesterday, we had St. Louis Cardinals free play. Again, if my numbers were correct, the Cardinals were 1-15 in their last 16 starts with Montgomery, and yet they were a pick'em, maybe a short dog, and now they win yesterday. It's a Houston Astro team that you can obviously see struggling without Mr. Alvarez, and offensively, their pitching hasn't been as great either. But looking at the number, I had St. Louis minus 113 overnight with a 9. Now at circa, let me see here, up to 126. The Astros plus 115. I'm sorry, an 8.5, which is now 9. 9 at circa and 8.5 over the rest of the Vegas Strip. If you like the Astros tonight, like when the Astros were playing the Dodgers on Sunday night, high scoring game, below the lead, I'd take a look at the Astros team total tonight and get that over 4.5 plus 105. So if you like the Astros, that's where I'd go today.
I'm liking it. I'm not sure I'm diving all the way into it, but I am 100% agreeing with you as far as that one. Maybe Mikolas has a little bit of a bounce back in him because he's been, his runs weren't bad last time, but he's been, flirting with double-digit hits for 4 or 5 straight starts. But, if you're buying into him having given up that many hits again, then absolutely 4.5 is definitely a ticket that can get there. So, Detroit and Texas is the next one up. Last time out, I was suggesting that Dane Dunning might be due for some regression. Didn't get it. Don't know what I feel about it tonight with this Detroit team coming in necessarily. Rangers starting to play a little bit better again after a little bit of a rough stretch. I should say they at least 8-3 win yesterday. Detroit's been going back and forth the last handful or so. Any love for what I'm saying? I don't know about if I love it tonight, but I've been waiting for some Dane Dunning regression here.
No, and I agree with that. And Wentz was a punching bag for a while. Then he had a couple starts that he actually pitched okay. I'm looking at some team totals. Texas played grab ass last night until I think it was the 8th inning. They put up a 5 spot or something. Their team total right now, obviously you can't get into minus 215 or 218. Now 222 at circa, a 9.5 juiced under. Just going to throw this out here for poops and giggles. Maybe a Detroit first 5, maybe a money line, maybe a Detroit first 5 plus the hook. I also think Detroit team total over 3.5. I think the dog is sneaky here today. I'm not saying to run to the window and start popping units and Corbell and all the popping champagne, but a little pizza and beer money, first 5 plus the hook, and team total over 3.5 tonight.
Yep, I think I dumped to it a little bit last week and got burned, so I'm at a point where I should be interested again. It's just I don't know what to get from Joey Wentz. Like you said, he's been better. I flirt around a little bit with a little first 5 team total sometimes, and I think in this case, let's see, team total first 5 for Detroit. They're making it tough for you. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be. I saw over 2.5 at plus 145 or something like that. Right now, I'm seeing over 1.5 at minus 145. So they're not letting you grab one there in the first 5. So I'm with you. I've been waiting on some. I was waiting on some Dane Dunning regression last week, and I with a little extra push, I'm happy to potentially dive into that boat tonight there. So. Philly and Chicago Cubs is the next one up. Curious if there's any concern about the air quality tonight, because it is not good at all. Very bad shape. And if it's anything like, I can't remember, I think they canceled a couple games on the East Coast a couple weeks ago when it was bad, and obviously Chicago's in bad shape. Would not shock me if there's any type of action going on with that tonight. But Aaron Nola, Drew Smyly on the mound tonight for these two teams. Nola last time out, 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs allowed. And Smyly had been going through some regression. That was one guy that I was pointing at for some regression. But last time out, kind of got out of that regression a little bit. 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, but 5 walks and 4 Ks. Cubs lose their last 2 after a really solid stretch, and this Phillies team has won 3 of their last 4. Are you buying a little bit of this 2-game dip with the Cubs, or are you thinking this is another one of these teams that probably has some good stretches like they just had in them, but then I don't want to, almost kind of like your Red Sox could have a night, the week after that 8-game, 8-1 stretch, they'll have a 1-7 stretch. Is that kind of where you're at with this Cubs team too?
I was saying yes, but I'm just trying to really peel the onion back on this game. I had an overnight number of 135. It's 136 right now. I think the Cubs are dangerous tonight. I'm looking at some numbers here. I'm looking at the team totals here. 3.5 is juiced over 120, and the Phillies are 4.5 juiced under. It's tough to go against, Nola, Wheeler and stuff like that. Numbers say a low-scoring game. I'll play contrarian here. Think that this could be a higher-scoring game. I think the Cubs' offense wakes up. I'll even throw this out, a Morel homer. What do you got for a Morel homer tonight? It's got to be +4 something, I would assume.
Let me see. Might take me a second to get there. To hit a home run, 450 on FanDuel here. So 450 there. I'll see if I can get a better number for you. Nope, 450 on DraftKings as well. So about 450.
Chris Morel homer +450. Cubs to get over 3.5. I think they're a live dog tonight. I think the game goes over 8.5. Again, now I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know the air quality out there. So again, if it looks like Ghostbusters out there, stay away, please. But again, I think the Cubs are sneaky today, and I think they score some runs. And I just wanted to bring this up because, again, it's comical. It's Patrick Corbin Day. And as I'm saying it, he's starting to blow up a little as the Mariners have 2 guys on in the 5th. But Patrick Corbin, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 7 Ks in 72 innings, 72 pitches. So he's trying to get through the 5th right now. So,
well, there you go. All right, moving on. Cleveland and Kansas City. You've got a Kansas City team that's shown a little bit of life this last week, at least as compared to what we've seen from them all season long. Offense, however, these last couple of days has not looked pretty. You've got Logan Allen on the mound for Cleveland. Had some regression for a little bit there, but last time out, 4 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. And this Austin Cox guy, a little bit of a question mark. So far, 12 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs over 6 outings for the Royals here. So kind of a question mark of what that might bring tonight. But these odds, Cleveland team that's playing a lot better, only -138 now. Any fishiness coming out of this, fishy smell coming out of this one from you?
Yeah, I think we're going to get some Logan Allen regression tonight. I think the team total KC over 4.5. You can get a +115. I had an overnight number of 131, now up to 134. I like KC plus the 123. I think if you can get over 9, I think there'll be some runs scored. I do see a 9.5 at Jazz and at Superbook in Colorado. But again, if you can get over 9, fine. But I think Kansas City, like the Cubs, I think there's some good value there. I like the team total over 4.5. You want to sneak in an over 9, I don't have a problem with that. But I think the dog is live in Kansas City tonight as well.
I like it. Need this Cleveland team to be suppressed a little bit more than they've been this last week. They're making me nervous a little bit over here, as we talked a couple weeks ago. But the White Sox need to do more than what they've been doing to even put me in that conversation. But anyways, we can, unless you have anything here, Dodgers and Colorado. I believe it's Michael Grove and Kyle Freeland here. Dodgers -195. I've been mentioning all season long, I expect the Rockies to have some better success at home here. The past couple of years, even when they had been good, the Dodgers were kind of that exception, though. The Dodgers still kind of came in and took care of business there. Any thought that this one could be? I'm trying checking to see if this is a 3 or 4 game. This is a 3-game series here. Any thought that the Rockies might be live today or tomorrow to get one of these 2 wins here after a 5-0 loss yesterday here at home, or do you think maybe stay away because this Dodgers team, despite the Rockies' success at home at times, the Dodgers are kind of an exception there?
Yeah, this is where they're supposed to shine, against the punching bags. And it was funny. I talked to a few colleagues last night and told them that Oakland was live against the Yankees. And then again, the Bronx Bombers go across the country and they're left their bats at JFK. So, Grove has not been good. I had an overnight number of 205. It's down to 189 at Circa. If you're looking for some Rockies action, maybe some first 5 money line, maybe grab the half run there. A total that opened up at 12.5 under, now flat 12s. Team totals, again, Dodgers 7.5 juiced under -140. So that's at Bet Online. You can get a flat 7 at Heritage, where Colorado 4.5 over. So again, if you like the Dodgers today, the only way I could play that is take their team total over the 7. Hope they get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. If they only get the extra point, you push. But you could take a swing with Colorado. Grove has not been good. So if you can't be good and now you go to Colorado and you can't get these guys out, well, someone might be warming up in your spot. So.
Right. No, 100%. Now, as far as Freeland, his home splits this year, home and away splits. He's got a 3.42 ERA at home or something like that this year. So maybe that's due for some regression. But at the end of the day, obviously, he's been a lot better at home there. So
I'll
go ahead.
Mookie Betts homer. What do I get in that one? +2 and change.
Mookie Betts. Let's see. I see on old DraftKings here 230 +230 for Mookie Betts.
I'll go with the Mookie homer at +230.
A little Mookie blast. Let me see. I bet you could find some better odds. And honestly, that might be the best odds there. I actually 280 on FanDuel. 280 for Mookie Betts over there on FanDuel. So
there you go. +280.
Alrighty. I like it. All right. You just mentioned them. Actually, no, I'm sorry. There's one game right before these last 2. The White Sox and the Angels, Mr. Lucas Giolito and Barria for the Angels. Barria has been a little bit of a kind of a bullpen start, sometimes going 3 to 5 innings, and he's been pretty solid this year for the Angels. This is a 4-game series. Angels have won the first 2. White Sox starting pitching has been good the first 2, and then whether it's some ugliness in a walk-off wild pitch on Monday night or some Ohtani bombs yesterday. Mr. Ohtani took it to us yesterday. But Giolito has been good this month. 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, 10 Ks last time out, and a handful of really good starts before that. Any love for the White Sox, or are you waiting on maybe a little, maybe not tonight, but I'm always going to be nervous after Giolito's had a stretch like this that there's a regression start coming at some point. So in a spot where they really need to win, maybe that's not the case tonight. But I'm probably going to be staying away from Giolito starts on the White Sox side of things for the next handful until he has that regression start. But if you have some love for him, give me some confidence here tonight for the White Sox.
No, Angels are dead to us, first of all. I think I told you, but I'm going to tell everyone that didn't hear this. On Friday night, we had the Angels team total over 6 in Colorado, and they scored 4 early. They left 10 left on base. And then on Saturday, they scored 24 runs. And this team has just destroyed us. Again, on Monday, a walk-off wild pitch win, their 2nd of the year. The number screams to me White Sox tonight, kid. So I would be in on the White Sox full game, White Sox first 5, and I'll take their team total over 4.5 +115 as well.
I like it, and obviously I'm biased, but if we're talking positively, the White Sox might have to hit 5 solo home runs because that's all they can manage when they hit home runs. But give me a 370 Eloy Jimenez home run here. That guy needs to Luis Roberts been playing well lately, but if they really need to get this offense moving, Eloy Jimenez has got to take another step up here. So I'll go Eloy homer tonight.
And I'm going to go, even though I don't have the lineup in, I just looked. I got the Angels, but I don't have the White Sox. I'm going with your guy for a homer. What do we got on Mr. Jake Burger tonight?
The Burger Bomb, 420, plus 420.
I'm going Burger Bomb, Swiss cheese, and mushroom to go yard tonight.
I like it. And if there going to be anybody on base for that home run, hell no. It's going to be a solo home run, a couple solo home runs for the Burger Man. Who knows? But no, I wish I was joking, but that's all they can figure out how to hit right now. So, yeah, they might have to hit 5 of them if they're going to win this one. So, I like it, though. I do like it. All right. You and I that was another one I failed to mention. You and I were on the same page with that Yankees and Oakland game yesterday. Just smelled a little bit, and obviously the Yankees left their bats on the other side of the country. They've got Domingo Germán tonight, who, if you haven't been paying attention, has not been good the last 2. 7 and 8 earned runs allowed in each of his last 2. And JP Sears for the A's has actually been pretty steady these last handful of starts here. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs last time out. Yankees 4 and 3 last 7. A's are the A's. They did win yesterday, however. Are you taking, well, I guess obviously if you think Domingo Germán is due for another bad start, then maybe you're interested in the A's. But with a total of 7.5, the A's winning yesterday, I'm not sure if that's where I'm thinking. But if you had the A's yesterday, taking the money and running, or any interest again here against this Yankees team?
The number again screams screams A's. And then tomorrow they play at 3:35, no pitching, so I don't have an opening number yet for that. Again, my overnight number was 130 with an 8. There's only one way it can go, and I've seen it as high as 142, now 140 at Circa as we speak, with a 7.5 juice under. If you had the A's last night, treat yourself to a burger and a nice brew, an IPA or whatever you're drinking. I'll throw this out there. Grab plus 130 on DraftKings with Mr. E. Ruiz with a stolen base. How's that?
I like it. I've been enjoying those stolen base props 100%. So I can definitely get behind that as well. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams just traveling out West Coast. The White Sox, obviously, I always talk about the White Sox having ugly success or lack of success there on the West Coast, and hopefully the White Sox can alleviate some of that this weekend or weekend with a trip to Oakland as well after the Angels here. But yeah, I mean, the West Coast can be a troublesome spot for a lot of these teams. So Tampa and Arizona is the last one up. Eflin and Davies. Davies is another guy that last 2, 6 and 8 earned runs allowed each of these last 2. Eflin has been he's been all right. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs. Not fantastic, not too terrible by any means. Diamondbacks did win yesterday, and this Rays team is kind of at a point where they've been going a little back and forth this last week, I believe. Lost 4-8 yesterday. Their offense just hasn't quite been there in these last few days. Their pitching staff has been a little back and forth. So any love for the Rays to bounce back, or are we seeing a potential Zach Davies finally bounce back start here?
Overnight number of 153 with a 9.5 under. Now, as we speak, circa 147 with a 9.5 over. Numbers scream to me Rays, however you want to get in there. Full game, first 5. I'm not going to lay the 153. Everyone here knows I will not lay 153. So you got to get creative there. I'm not going to, the VIPs already got the alert for today. You know where we stand. We got a couple pieces on this game. So anyone interested for just $3 a day, having our information delivered to your cell phone and email, DM me at EC Sports Invest. I'll get you guys hooked up, or just go to our website at eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Top right, plans and pricing. There's a thing right there for $3 a day. First time VIPs, go jump on it, and I'll send you tonight's alert. But numbers are screaming Tampa Bay tonight.
Fair enough, my friend. I can definitely get behind that as well. But that about does it for tonight's MLB slate. Your man Corbin managed to skate through that fifth inning. It is 4-0 Nationals going into the bottom of the sixth inning now. So he did manage to get out of that one unscathed there. So Nationals up 4-0 going into the bottom of the sixth there. But aside from that, we talked some NBA at the start of the show. I know you've got Brady Cannon coming on. I don't have too strong of thoughts as far as that one is concerned. So I'll let you guys tackle that one here in a little bit. But I am waiting for that one for sure. Those shows are obviously fantastic. But I don't think I've got too much else today, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to Brady on in 19 minutes here, the Rocket Mortgage. You know what's scary is when the whole world is on someone. And if you go on social media, you go on Pat Mayo, Rick Gaiman, you look at every spreadsheet that you can. And that's all one name I hear this week, Ricky. So, Ricky, don't lose that number. I mean, he's been knocking on the door, and this is a lesser than elevated field. And I don't know, Team Puma, did they finally get in the winner's circle?
I'm going to say no. I'm at a spot where I'm not going too aggressively into this weekend. This is kind of a spot where I feel there's a couple of guys that after we've had a stretch of like 4 or 5 tournaments, weeks in a row, where we've been playing high-level golf consistently, big tournaments. I'm not usually a guy who likes taking guys who got cut the previous week, but I'm almost interested in some guys that might be a little more well-rested and might not have as much travel lag. A guy like, and he's one of the favorites, but I mean, Colin Morikawa obviously hasn't been informed, but if there was ever a time to finally break through, he missed the cut last week, but he shot 62 or 63 on the second round and still managed to miss the cut. So coming off of that with a little extra rest, of all the guys right at the top, that's one I'm interested in. Max Homa's another guy. Maybe you think he's just in a, finally hit some regression here, but he's a guy who I think has missed the cut the last 2 weeks, so obviously that's not the form you want, but he's a little more well-rested there. And like you said, there's obviously some massive names at the top, but Rahm, Scheffler, Rory aren't there this weekend. So the prize is there for the take. And the other guy who I've been on the last 2 weeks, so I've taken my money with him, but who's finally rounded into form, and this time last year was the spot that he earned his name for was Tom Kim, and parlayed that into come January, February, everyone's thinking he's going to be the breakout star, and obviously everyone jumped off that bandwagon, and I climbed on a couple weeks ago at the U.S. Open. So I've had a spot where I've kind of won some money these last couple weeks with them, so. I'm backing off a little bit, but would not surprise me at all if he's just in for a nice couple months stretch here as far as Tom Kim is concerned.
No, he's shown flashes the last few weeks, and I'll leave us with this: a guy that was deader than dead, that was at the U.S. Open plus 5,000, that shot an 81 on the second day, did not make the cut, and again, just wondering. I really felt for the guy, and all of a sudden caught fire on the weekend, and just maybe has found his form back, and that was Justin Thomas over the weekend. He really played well and made a nice little run up that board. I have him available. I was going to hold out for the British Open, so I had a big name on one of my one and dones. I have Ricky in one of them and Homer on the other. I'm afraid of taking Ricky because the whole world's on him, but I might want to change him with Justin, but I hate to not have a big name at least for the British Open. But Justin caught some lightning in a bottle. Maybe he found something. And again, as you said with Morikawa, this might be his time where he can parlay that, no pun intended, in from last weekend to this week.
Right. No, it's a great spot. I mean, we've had such a fantastic stretch. So are there guys that are, that have been playing consistently for 4 or 5 weeks that have been playing well that are going to play well this weekend? Probably. But it's a spot where you could absolutely see some of these guys tiring out a little bit after they've gone. I mean, some of these guys have literally played 4 days in a row for 5 straight weeks here. So it's at least something to look for this weekend here.
All right, Riley, great stuff. Tomorrow we have some day baseball. A handful of games, and we have a night card here. So you and I will circle the wagons tomorrow at 3:00. In about 15 minutes, myself and Brady Cannon will be talking Rocket Mortgage. And then at 7 o'clock, we're going to wrap up the day with Scott Webb. We're going to talk some MLB. So a full day of shows here at the ECSI studio. Want to give a shout out, as always, to Connor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to the guys behind the stage, Ben Cohen, Joseph Shea, and Cade Horton, the dream team, the summer of 23 here at ECSI. From Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson the one, and myself at EC Sports Invest. Everyone, have a great night. Hope you cash some tickets. We'll be retweeting some Homer Dongs tonight. Hopefully we cash a few of those and a couple dogs as well. So everyone, have a great night. Behave yourselves. And we'll see you real soon.